Hello, everybody. Hope you're well. This is the second part of the Leader Maker sort of sessions. And if you remember in our first kind of block together, we sort of looked at the principles behind being a Cultivate mentor. We looked at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the kind of one aim and the 2 priorities. We talked about the 3 P's of preparation, if you remember: priority, pruning, and pain relief. We looked at the 4 W's, the 4 W questions: why, who, where, and what, that we'll be coming back to. We talked about the 5 models of mentoring. So that was the first part, looking at sort of kind of principles. And now let's get a little bit more practical, looking at the tools and resources. So let me share a screen with you that hopefully will work. Hopefully you can sort of see that. And as we've said kind of several times, and you'll be bored stiff with this by now, there are 3 outcomes coming out of the end of the Cultivate course, and all of the work of the Cultivate mentor is focused on the first of these outcomes, the START outcome, that group, that probably small group of people that are going to be looking at leading and starting these new worship communities to help them grow in it. Okay, so we'll look at these 3 tools and resources, and the first of them is the Cultivate group of leaders. Let's talk about what it is, first of all. This group is a gathering, as we know, of these lay leaders in the new parish who are leading new worship communities or justice initiatives. What's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is for the development of this group through peer support, for lay leaders to kind of learn from each other and to pray for each other. There'll be leaders in different contexts doing different things, but they'll be able to share their experiences and cross-fertilize their learning and to pray for each other. The main focus of this group is prayer and learning. They'll be praying for each other and they'll be learning from each other in different ways. What happens? These lay leaders will gather together and they will pray for the live issues that are happening around them. They will engage in action learning sets, and we'll talk about what those are later on. They will have more training content from the Cultivate coach, me and Kate, and they will have an annual retreat. And this group will be sort of convened and led and overseen by Cultivate mentors. As we said before, this group, Cultivate mentors, will come initially from the growth team, but we're hoping that many others will be involved in that later. And how often will they meet? It says here fortnightly or monthly, but it's monthly. That's going to be the actual pattern. They'll gather together monthly. So what's next? What's the sort of next steps? The next steps for us as a growth team is, first of all, knowing the sort of content, knowing what the action learning sets are, and we'll be talking about this later on. We don't need to actually know it now. It's about gathering the group, and of course that will happen in sort of January. That will come out of the one-to-one conversations happening later on this sort of month, and then it will start to gather in January. It's about establishing the purpose, making it clear to them what it is this group is and what it will do, identifying the patterns with them, and then it's going. So that's the kind of first sort of resource, which is this Cultivate group of leaders. And the second resource is the kind of 4 W's mentoring. And this is very simply one-to-one mentoring or coaching from a Cultivate mentor. Its purpose is development through mentoring support. It's to actually enable them to grow and develop through a committed, a supported relationship with a mentor. The sort of main focus is really twofold. It's about support and it's about challenge. It's about sort of growing and sort of supporting them, but also it's about challenging them, asking them the actual right sort of questions for it. What happens, the mentors will be encouraged to use the 4 W's format that we'll go over in a minute to kind of focus the thinking and actions of lay leaders on the key aspects of their leadership. The two most effective actions, as we said last time, of a mentor are these powerful questions, attentive listening. If you do those two things, this will really work for them. Emerging leaders are developed in a supportive mentoring, systematic way through this. How often does it happen? It happens every month. So this group of leaders will have once a month this gathering of the actual group of leaders, the sort of training and praying, but they will also have alongside it this monthly meeting with a mentor. So let's just talk about the sort of 4 W's mentoring, and the sort of words on here are tiny, but I hope you can see it. The sort of general principles behind it is just that mentoring is a vital aspect of Cultivate. As we've said before, it's a crucial element of their growing leadership. It sort of maintains momentum. It sort of provides ongoing sort of challenge and support. It sort of develops sort of reflective learning. It establishes accountability. If you can sort of commit to it as a Cultivate mentor, these new emerging lay leaders, honestly, they will greatly benefit from your investment. Just in terms of general principles then of starting, we would say always start with prayer. I know that sounds really sort of obvious. Make sure that you book something every month, or at the most every 6 weeks, with them. If you can, book off initially kind of 2 hours, or at least an hour and a half. It might not take that long, and you'll learn as you go along with each individual how long it takes. But certainly if you're doing it online, then certainly it will take less. But we really do recommend that you do it in person, certainly at the beginning. And the key to being a good mentor, said it before, said it a few times, I'm going to say it again, is to ask powerful questions. If you find yourself largely giving advice or doing most of the sort of talking, then your mentoring will be ineffective. It really will. Sessions always begin with a sort of personal element, but there are 4 sort of major areas of questioning, these 4 kind of W's. So first of all, we begin with the actual personal element. Begin with the person. These are questions about sort of well-being and state of mind. And we do this for 2 reasons. First, because we care for them as people first before we care for them as leaders. And secondly, unless the actual presenting problem or issue is dealt with, then you'll never get beyond it to the issues of planting or of being a leader. So sort of central questions around this are sort of questions are like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? What's the biggest thing on your mind at this moment? If you could fix or change one thing, what would it be? So it's questions like that. And then we move on to the first question, why, which is about purpose, as we've said before. And this may not be relevant at every point, at every time you actually meet, but it's relevant particularly at crossroad moments, at the beginning of a journey of leadership, or at particular times of change or decision making. And the key questions around this are, why are you doing what you're doing? What's your kind of vision or purpose? What is the good reasoning, which is wisdom, or God's voice, which is discernment, at the heart of your decision making? Second question is the who question. Who are you doing this with? And this is about saying that you're never asked to do this alone. This is about identifying and gathering and growing those who are on this journey together with you. At every stage, this question of who is a vital question. At the beginning, it's who they are. Later on, it's how are you growing and developing them. And some key questions are, who's your team? Who's been called to join you on this journey? How have you chosen them? What are the criteria? And we go through this in their sort of training. We talk about the 3 C's and the 4 M's and various things. Key other question: how often do you meet? What do you do when you meet? Do you pray together as a team? How are you building community? How are you developing their leadership? All sorts of questions around that. The third W is the where question. Where's your prayer? And this is just about establishing prayer at the heart of their journey. of both of them as an individual and as a sort of worship community, ensuring it underpins their sort of discernment. It's about nourishing them as an individual. It's about all aspects of prayer. And so the key questions underpinning this are: what does your prayer look like for you individually and for your community? How has God spoken to you recently as an individual and as a community? How are you praying as a team? Do you have other people praying for you? Where is the voice of God in your vision and planning? And other questions like that. The fourth W is the what question. What's your plan? This is just about ensuring that they have an intentional plan to make and grow disciples that lies at the heart of their discipleship journey. It's vital that they invest in the whole discipleship journey. That fundamentally, this is about the 3 E's. Where is the plan for engagement and encounter and early discipleship? And also the plan for the 5 M's. How are they growing these sort of 5 marks? So at the end of that, the talk is, the final bit is about sort of progress. And this is just about concluding with a clear aim of what the progress looks like for them. And this is about asking questions in light of what we've talked about. What are the choices or actions or decisions that are going to be made in this next week? And fundamentally, when is your next meeting? Making sure that's in the actual diary. Okay, so that's the 4 W's mentoring. That's just a basic format or outline of what you could do with them, asking them, making sure that the important questions are lined up in there. So that's first 2 of our tools, resources. And the third one is the pyramid review. And this is a review and development tool for groups of leaders. Its purpose is to focus on the 3 aspects of growth. It's about ensuring that they have an effective missional vision, ensuring that they have a plan to make and grow disciples, the 3 E's, ensuring the 5 marks of a worship community are being grown and developed. The main focus of this is review and action planning, reviewing what's been done before and action planning for these future. What happens in it, it's a workshop that takes them through a process, as we've said, of looking at these 3 aspects, looking at missional vision, looking at the 3 E's, looking at the 5 marks, which is why it's called a pyramid review, because it looks at the 1, 3, and 5. And these workshops will happen every 6 months or so, ensuring there's a constant pattern of this review and action planning. And the best way of seeing this happen is to observe it, actually. So we'll be asking each of you, maybe really one of you, because any more than that and it destabilizes it, just to sort of sit in on one of these pyramid reviews and to see how it works, and you'll quickly gain an understanding of how it's done. So just to sort of review then of what these tools are. The first one is this group of Cultivate leaders. Its purpose is development through peer support, this group of people who are on a journey together. Its main focus is about prayer. It's about learning. It's about praying for each other and learning from each other. And the main actions are about prayer, are about this action learning sets that we'll speak about later on. It's about some training that happens certainly in the first 6 months, and it's about retreat. Frequency of their meeting is every month. The 4 W's mentoring, and this is about development through mentor support. Its main focus is about support and challenge. The main actions are these one-to-one conversations underpinned by powerful questions and attentive listening. It happens again every month. The pyramid review is the development of the worship community. Its main focus is, as we said, review and action planning. The main actions are this workshop that happens, and that happens every half year, happens every sort of 6 months. We've whistled through this. I know we have, but if you have any questions about it, let me know. But fundamentally, you'll be at different times observing this. And as you observe these tools, you'll become much more familiar with how they work. Great to be with you virtually. Again, any questions or any thoughts, please get in contact and I'll be seeing you soon. Take care. God bless. Bye.